Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 627. Now, in this episode, we'll be talking about doing one thing that if you apply will absolutely transform your life. It absolutely will do. And to me, it's so important. It's one of the first steps of change, other than obviously the awakening from knowing we got an issue and knowing we got a burning desire to let it go. The next thing, other than assuming that responsibility to start making changes in your life, it would really go into this subject. Now, before we go into today's subject, this is being broadcasted live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and all those kind of places. So always feel free to join us. We get to have a little conversation before the recording and also post the recording. And I always love connecting with each and every one of you. And on top of that, we do have a virtual weekend seminar coming up, and that is the Unlimited Confidence Virtual Weekend Seminar. And if you go to josephclough.info/event, EVENT, you can attend from the comfort of your own home for 2 whole days of transformation. You're able to really start to immerse yourself, getting our mind right to be able to experience what has to be done, really getting our mind to the place. Now, for those who are live, I actually made a small spelling mistake in the chat. I forgot to put it's meant to be a full stop or a dot there, so for the URL, but it's www.josephclough.info/event, and we can come together no matter where you are even in the world, and immerse yourself. Now, it is pretty important to get it as soon as possible. I don't know, in fact, by the time it goes to my podcast, I think the early bird may have expired. Even still, it'll be a great investment. And I'll make sure that I'll let everyone know in the app and on the podcast before that early bird discount. But if you want to be able to get it for a third of the price for $97, a whole weekend of transformation. Working with me, we go through powerful processes to really realign ourselves, really get our mind, and especially as we close off this year, because the event is happening in November, late November, we're able to make sure we transition in 2022 in the best form yet, where you feel more certainty, where you feel more confidence, and truly the power within to create what you could say that you desire. And I always say that you deserve as well. So that is josephclough.info/event. But with that, let's get into today's episode. This is the one thing I want you to practice over and over and over and over again. And you might know it, but do you really, really know it? Do you apply it? Do you really start to get your mind engaged with this? You see, most of the time, when we have an issue, let's just say you have a burning desire for more wealth. Well, if you don't have it, you might feel a bit of scarcity. Even if you have something, you might be like, well, how do I get to where I want to be? How am I going to get there? When is it going to happen? Well, of course, that breeds a lack because you don't have it. So therefore, you get into a level of scarcity. You get anxious, you get worried. If we change the theme, and let's just say that's an external thing of money, or you could have changed that for a career, like you want to be able to get that promotion that you really, really want. But it could also be internal. Let's just say you don't feel as if you are worthy. You don't feel that you're good enough. You don't feel that you're capable. You just don't know how to get there. Well, in the same notion, if you don't know how and you don't know when, you're going to start to feel worried, you're going to start to feel anxious, you're going to start to feel fear. And I want to get you out of fear. Now, although I can't work with you personally, unless you enter my program, there are some things that you can go ahead and do today that will allow you to change the area of focus of scarcity-based thinking, anxious-based thinking, into a place of receiving, where you can really start to receive what you desire. And the way that it really works is this. It's simple, you've heard it before, but ask yourself, am I doing it? Am I making it a ritual? Am I making it a habit? Because I know I am, and I've got to keep reminding myself of it. It's interesting, sometimes we let go and forget about the things that just work. Have you noticed that? Everything's going really, really well because you're applying one or two things, and then suddenly we don't do it. And we're like, well, why isn't it working anymore? Well, because we're not doing the simple things, the easy things, the good things that will allow us to be totally free and absolutely in the reception mode of our goals and our dreams. So let's just say, make a decision right now that maybe there's something that you would like to receive into your life. And I don't mind if that reception of that thing, external, or just the essence of you, the internal, so let's just say around your esteem, around your value, around your worth, around your belief system, your identity. And by the way, once you get the inner one, the identity, you usually easily start to get the external. When the mind's right, the facts don't count. You start to just make things happen. I've seen it time and time again, where people have that unrockable self-certainty, even in the times of confusion, even in the times of, I don't know how I'm going to get there. Well, once you have that deep self-certainty, once you have that real profound, absolute transformation, you are able to thrive in those situations. You're able to grow. You're able to take on it as a challenge. And I love challenges. I never used to, because they used to make me fearful. I used to shy away from them. I used to play small. But we've got to get ourselves to the point where we go, look, I'm ready to change and to get that unrockable, unshakable self-confidence, self-certainty, because when you have that in your mind, the external, whatever comes your way, is not going to be a huge issue for you. So what is the real thing we got to get back into the practice of? Because I'm sure you may not be doing it. Most of us, right? And it's this. It's simple, it's easy, and it's gratitude. Gratitude, but in different levels and different ways. Now, before you just dismiss it, okay, Joes, I can feel good and all those things, but it doesn't always work. Well, we got to change our level of frequency. If we are putting out the frequency of scarcity, worry, and doubt, we are in that scarcity mode, and our brain is wired up neurologically to seek out more. Whatever you desire, or whatever you think about the most or feel the most, you are unconsciously, biologically seeking out more of the same. Is how the mind works. Whatever you focus upon, you bring about. So when you are in that state of scarcity and worry and fear, guess what? Our brain is looking for all the other situations that could also be harming to try to protect you. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, it's not something that we want, because usually it just makes us feel worse. We feel more worry, we feel more scared, we feel more doubt because our attention is on it. It's almost like we're breeding more scarcity in the nature of thinking and feeling in our issue. But we got to get our frame of reference differently. We need to be able to change our emotional state. And one of the freest ways of doing so, the most quickest ways of doing so, is allowing your attention and intention into gratitude. Gratitude for what you have and who you are. Now, the first one is pretty easy, right? Because yeah, you can think of, say, well, I have a roof over my house, over my head. I have a bed, or I have a car, or I have a family, I have clothes, and all those things. We may not have all of those things in that order, but look, there's many things we can be grateful for. I would probably say the nature of you being here, listening to this, means you have a willingness to learn. And to me, that's almost better than the external gratitude, because things make us feel good. And if we put our attention to that gratitude, that yes, I have that bed, I have that roof over my head, I have a job, or I have a partner, anything external, yeah, it's really easy But a deeper level version of that is the gratitude for what is good within you. Now, of course, there is a lot of good within you. However, it is usually clouded over with anxiety. It's usually clouded over with that inner critic going, but you're not worthy of this. You're not deserving of this. Who are you to go for that goal? It could be even people in our life trying to project their reality on us, right? Because they have their own limitations and we take it personally and unconsciously, and therefore we start to feel what they feel too. We see it as a society over and over again. Something happens in the news and suddenly, like a wildfire, we all start to have this thought virus of, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? The world has gone mad, and we start to buy into the madness or the scarcity or the worry and the doubt, depending on the topic of the day. Or even on our friends on Facebook, we're so immersed in the external world that we forget about the internal world of us. And I think in times of transformation, in times of challenge, in times of trauma, in times of fill in the blank, which is negative externally, we should be going on the inside world of us and start to cultivate that into a new way. You've got to plant yourself in an environment, ideally, but at least the environment within the mind of gratitude. So put aside that inner critic, okay? It might be happening unconsciously, continuously for a long, long time, but there are times like now where you can start to just stop, be here, be present, and consider what you can be grateful within yourself. Maybe you're a good friend. Maybe you have something in your heart. You have love. You have a desire. Maybe there are certain qualities of what you would like to achieve. Like there are aspects of you, there are the finer qualities that you may not always see it within you, but you see it within what other people may say it to you. And I like to think that if someone's saying it to you, and I've said this when people say thank you on these live streams, or like in the chat section and things like that, or in a review, I'm going to receive that with so much gratitude, even if I were not to believe it. Like, let's just say I had low self-esteem, but someone said that, Joseph, your work's great. Even if I didn't believe it, I'm going to accept it as a form of truth because they said it, and it would be of dishonor if I didn't do so. I say that all the time. It's of dishonor to the person's level of gratitude and pointing out something and saying thank you to you that we have to really, even if we don't agree with it, we should accept it. So think about the qualities that other people have said about you that are good and great. Consider the levels of gratitude of the qualities of you. Now, there's a process that I've done, I've never done it out there in the internet, but I've done it with my clients and things. And it's almost like a hypnotic process. And the whole idea is, if you could imagine you were writing your autobiography, and you're writing and you're allowing your pen just to write the words in your mind. And it's kind of like a nice deep transformation. It's a nice deep unconscious process. And then imagine as if you were to notice that there was someone on the other side of that wall where there's, like, say, a window, and it's someone that you love. And it's almost like you imagine importing or leaving your mind for a second and looking through the eyes of someone who loves you. And you start to consider how they feel about you. So you may even choose right now someone that loves you, someone who likes you, someone who appreciates you. I don't mind if it's your mother or father. I don't mind if it's your friend. I don't mind. Hopefully you might think it's me. Like, I generally, although we've never probably met, some of you I generally have an immense love for you. And sometimes you got to hear it, and you might not believe it, but that's just my personal truth. Like, you might deny it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, because that's the way I feel for you. I generally do. I want people to transform. I want people to live and love life and unshackle them from the chains. That's just my belief, and that's just my meaning. That's how I want to live my life. Because I've been there, right? I've been in the darkness. I've been in the worry. I've been in the dread. I've been in the scarcity, and I want you out of it. Because I think you are uniquely beautiful. I do think you have these amazing untapped gifts all those kind of things, and I want you to access it. But either way, like going back to it, there's someone out there in your life who probably does like or love you. Even to the point it could be a pet, right? It could be a dog or cat or anyone, anything that you feel has a love. And if you were to look through the eyes of love back at you, you could then ask yourself, well, what do they think of me? Even if I don't believe it, even if I don't see it within myself, what level of gratitude or thoughts or qualities do they see within you as you look through the eyes of that person or that wonderful pet, for example? Now, you've got to wake up to the fact that there are those qualities beneath all the inner critic, beneath all the fear, beneath, there's that part of you wanting to break free. There's that part of you that wants to shine. There's a part of you which just wants to be liberated from the sedation of life into the living of life, into the power of life, to be able to just love it in every way, to love every cell of you. I know there's a part of you just like that. And it may have been a long time. It may have been a long time since you felt it, because I felt that way, as I said. But we've got to switch our mind, switch our gear into that level of gratitude. So think about it. Look through the eyes of love, looking at that you, writing your autobiography, just as an analogy. And what would they say? What thoughts do they have for you? What love do they have for you? Really think about it. You may even feel emotion, and it's okay to feel emotion. And we want to tap into that, because that's a level of gratitude. That's feeling. That's energy in motion. Emotion, right? We've got to get to that place of gratitude. So that is one level of gratitude, or you could say two semi-ones, the things we have externally, and also the internal gratitude for our qualities, our attributes. And even people in my program, we build out their qualities. We stack them up so much so that they just awaken to the nature of their beauty. They awaken consciously and unconsciously to go, oh, actually, I am worthy, I am deserving. That's what my system does, is the awakening from the sedation. But there is a third level, if we just say the external gratitude and internal gratitude. And this is one that you need. And I was actually speaking about this whole subject, and I went for a series of questions we can ask ourselves in challenging times, which I won't go into today because it's a whole section of, like, we'll be here for an hour or so just to do that. But in this episode, in order to get this third part, so the first and second, the first is external gratitude, the things that we have, or the people we have, something beyond us. And then we also have the internal gratitude, which is our qualities, right? So the internal aspect of us. And we can look through the eyes of someone that we love and notice what they feel. Even if you disagree, even if you cannot accept yet, you can still appreciate and know that that's what they think of you. So you need those first two levels of gratitude to change your life, to be able to get this third one. Because the third one is this: you must get your mindset, you must get your soul, your beingness, your love, your heart, your mind into the gratitude, and it's counterintuitive. Because we think of gratitude as the things that we have or who we are, right? It's the present. Well, my third level of gratitude that I have for myself and my clients is the gratitude of reception, the gratitude of receiving. So every day when I wake up, and it's a challenge at times because life is life and stresses happen and the inner critic happens, all those kind of things, right? We look at the news, suddenly we're off tilt, and then suddenly we're in that scarcity mode. So we're all human, right? Things happen. But we have to turn that gratitude to the reception or the receiving. So there's certain things I tell myself, things like, I won't give you the specifics, but I'm going to be so grateful for the good and great things coming my way. So if it's in my business, I'm so grateful to enroll someone into my program that I know their life's going to change. And I'm so rooting for them. I'm just wanting them and like having all that passion And I'm so happy that I'm receiving someone into my program today, because we're liberating another person from their past. We're liberating from their limiting beliefs. We're enrolling them into their dream. And I'm just so excited for the future, right? I'm grateful for that future person who's booked the call with us and has decided and declared they're going to live their life the way they want, on their terms, despite the issue, right? So that's one level of my gratitude. I'm so grateful for the person who books a call with us so we can get them to where they want to be in our 8-week fully customized program. But there are other things. Sometimes I'm going look, I'm so grateful to receive something that I don't know about, right? So there's where I have no idea what it is, but I'm so grateful to be surprised by something good today. And I don't know what that is. So the first one was look, I want to liberate someone from their fear and enroll them into my program because I just love them and I want them to change, and I see so much greatness, even though we haven't met yet. That's my future gratitude. The gratitude for what is coming my way. And then that second aspect is for the unknown. I am so grateful to receive something good that I'm going to be so surprised that it's going to happen in seen ways and unseen ways, in known ways and unknown ways. That the world is so magical and it's all its essence. It's going to surprise me today for some beauty, something. I don't know what it is. But immediately as I say that, and you may not be able to, if you're listening to this on the podcast, my neurology is lighting up. I'm starting to smile, I'm starting to engage. I feel it in my being that I'm grateful to be surprised. Well, usually we start to go, well, I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know if this, and fear. And that has an effect on our neurology. That gives us into that fight and flight. That gives us into our fear. That gives us the anxiety. But when I'm so open and I'm just so thinking, and it reminds me of the Alchemist book by, I'm going to get the name wrong, I usually do, Paulo Coelho. And in the book, The Alchemist, and if... the book's really good, but I also love the audiobook because it's read by Jeremy Irons. And one of the sentences in that book is, the world is conspiring in my favor or in your favor. Now think about that. If that was your mentality, that was your psychology, that was starting to be woven into your identity, every single day you go, look, the world is conspiring my favor today. Immediately you're starting to get out of anxiety. The world is conspiring in your favor, not for your destruction, not for your putting you off till you're getting yourself into that kind of anxious mode. No, the world is conspiring in your favor. I can promise you, and it may feel like wishful thinking. It may come across as a bit of woo-la-la stuff, which I love. But personally, that's just me. I'm into the weird and wonderful things, because so many weird and wonderful things have happened once I started to apply this. We've got to get our mind into that, wow, I'm going to be surprised today. The world is conspiring into my favor. I'm so excited to be here. I don't know what's going to happen, but I am welcoming it. And that goes into then the reception, because look, just break things down for a second. Let's just say we're energy, right? We're energy. We're vibrating at a certain frequency, as is everything, like the device you're listening or watching this on, as is the table, the chair, as is the person next to you. We're all energy condensed, and we're vibrating at a frequency. Now, the quality of your thoughts, if they're low thinking and you're low feeling, you are energetically putting that out into the world. And I'm not just talking about, say, the law of attraction, which I know some people like, some people dislike. I'm talking about the biology of you. When you are in a state of gratitude for the external, for the internal, and also for the future, you are radiating that energy. At the very least, you are bringing the physiology, the psychology, the neurology into every situation, which means you are going to be taking action from that state of success, from the operation of success, from the psychology to the physiology. So when you're getting to that gratitude for what the things I have, the gratitude for who I am, the gratitude for the known ways and unknown ways, for the world conspiring in my favor, you are like a beacon. You are radiating that out. And therefore, your mind, your biology looks for the things which are similar to that thought, similar to that feeling. Now, in the old way of thinking, the anxious way, the fearful way, that is why we look and find more fear. Whatever we think about, we bring about. So if we're thinking about fear, we're feeling about fear, we are bringing about more fear, more scarcity. The world is conspiring against me, all of those things. But once you change your frame of reference and get into that gratitude for the good and great things coming your way, you're telling your neurology, you're telling your unconscious mind to look for those things, to look for the opportunity, to look for the goodness in the world. We can always see good things and bad things, but it's a choice. I've said this a while ago as well, but like Mr. Rogers, I never knew who Mr. Rogers was until I came over to America. So for those who don't know, maybe looking him up. But for those in America, you will probably know, unless you're super, 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 super young. And it's one of those things where like there's all this badness in the world, like how are we able to change our state? Like when there's so much madness and bad things, it's very, very depressing. And Mr. Rogers, I don't know where he got it from, I don't know if it's his mother or something like that, but he said, look for the helpers. Look for the helpers. When there's something bad happening, look for the helpers, because there's always someone trying to help. There's always that person. If there's a tragedy, there are the services that kick in, there's the volunteers, there's people wanting to help. So that in itself is a frame of reference. It's a reframe of your perception from the badness to look for the helpers. So in the same way, we're kind of doing that with our neurology. We're getting our mind to look for the helpful things, the good things, the great things, which could aid us in our success. So that attitude of gratitude, the external, the internal, for the future, will allow you to change your mind. It will allow you to get your results. It will allow you to live the life of your dreams. And I promise you that. That is one of the biggest things we can do if you need to change right now. Now, of course, if we've got lots of programming, lots of rooted limiting beliefs, unconscious limiting beliefs, we may need help with that because it is hard to get into gratitude, or at least to be able to do it consistently without a lot of effort. It is pretty tricky. But just because, it doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. The one thing that I've found and I've learned, having surrounded myself with people like me, is that just because it's a challenge, it doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. It's going to be better to put that time and effort into the now to future-proof your future self, compared to living in pain, living in shame, living in anxiety, living in fear. Even if it's effort, that momentum will build up. The analogy I always like to say on these podcasts, it's almost like you got this big boulder and it's heavy and you've got to get up that mountain. The goal up there on the top of the peak of the mountain, and you got to keep pushing forward even when your muscles feel weak, even if your stride gets smaller, even if you take a breather. Each step gets you higher to that peak. And then when you get to it, it becomes easy because now you're not going uphill, you're on the flat of the surface. And then if you want to go down the other side, it is so much easier, right? Because now we're going down. And that starts to build the momentum like a bit of like snow, building bigger and bigger and bigger. We are building up that energy in the essence of us. That's how I see the neurology of the mind. We've got to build that energy. We've got to stack upon it our qualities, our gratitude, and we've got to honor it. We've got to protect it. If you've got a dream, don't let anyone take it away from you because you're more than that. Don't allow other people's opinions be your business. Your business is on your development. Your business is on your life. You only have one, unless we believe in things like past lives or in the Matrix or something. But either way, it's more beneficial and more applicable to start to feel the gratitude and start to radiate it around your life. If the very least you wake up with gratitude. So I make sure people in my system, my program, we have these morning rituals that we do, and it just creates your day. It goes into the seen and unseen ways, the welcoming of gratitude. But you can do that to yourself a little bit, right? You can start to think of what you're grateful for externally, internally, and also what is happening for your day, what is coming your way. You can also take 5 minutes, 2 minutes at your lunch break or on the way to work, on the way back from work, when you're just before you eat dinner, you're gonna have that moment of gratitude that you got food in front of you. Not everyone does, so let's be grateful for that. Let's not just take it for granted. Every time before you close your eyes fully as you go to sleep, you can get into a state of gratitude. There's so many times and moments and minutes that you can start to build up that gratitude. But although it may seem small in the beginning, one time in the morning, one time on the way to work, one time when you're taking that hike, one time when you're going for that run, one time when you're in a checkout line, one time when you're just before you're about to eat, one time before you go to sleep, all of those things, you have an opportunity. You have a finite amount of time. Look, right now, you're the youngest you'll ever be, right? You're the youngest you'll ever be. But right now, we have the most time from now on for the rest of our life, because that decreases. So what we have is time. We have moments. And in those moments can build up. They can be like that snowball, building traction, building momentum. So when you do it in the morning, gratitude in the mid-morning, gratitude at lunch, gratitude on the way home from work, gratitude before you go to sleep, gratitude when you got your family around you. Maybe you've not seen your family for a long time. So we can just go, I'm so grateful that I have family in my life right now. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to be around people. I'm so grateful that I have this moment that one day I'm going to look back and I'm going to wish I was more grateful. Because in every single moment there is beauty. There can be beauty if we choose to seek it out. Even going for a walk, the miracle of the world is just crazy to me. Like how everything is just moving and growing, transcending in and out of form. There's so much things going on, from every little bug and insect to trees to plants to people to objects. All these things is this miracle of life just working hand in hand in many different ways, going into and out of form. And there's so much beauty within that. Even in the chaos, we can still see some uniqueness. And in the same way, in the chaos within our own life and our own fear and our own shadow and our own conflict, our own doubt, we can start to seek out the beauty. It can be small at first, it can be a glimpse of it, but that glimpse gets bigger and bolder and brighter. So remember, if you're going to do one thing today, if you're going to do something to transform your life, it's where you put your energy. It's where you put your intention. You may not have thousands and thousands and thousands or tens of thousands to invest in yourself. Most people do because they have things like credit cards, and if it's worth it, they do it, right? That's my philosophy, and it's allowed me to live a great, powerful life. But even let's just say we don't have money at all. We're struggling. Well, we still have the gratitude for the now. We have the gratitude for this moment, for the opportunity of the breath that we have. We have the opportunity to be able to touch or to be able to connect. We have the beauty to be seen, to be heard, and to be felt. We have the beauty of the moment, the beauty of the observation of the world around us. In every single moment, there's that uniqueness which just comes in and out of form. And it's up to us to put our attention to it. It's up to us to allow that beauty to shine, because you can give birth to it. And I like to think if you've got a goal and a dream, you are birthing something big and great. So it can take time. It can take time to birth that greatness. It can take time to birth that success. But if you are going to birth that success, you have to cultivate it. You have to notice it. You have to put the energy and the time into your experience so you can truly live the life that you want. We've got to get our thoughts and our feelings into that place that we're just so ready to welcome the good and great things coming our way. That's what we have to do. That's who we are. That's what I believe you are anyway. And like I said, even if you don't believe it in yourself, sometimes we can at least accept or acknowledge that if I think it for you, or if someone else does, it's a good building step or a stepping stone to maybe for you to recognize it yourself. That's what I want for you. To uncover your greatness, to stop playing small, to be bigger and bolder, to achieve your goals and your dreams and your feelings, your greatest desires, whether it be wealth, whether it be career, business, whether it's relationship, whether it's just on the inside, to liberate yourself from that sedation so you can start to experience what you truly desire. And if you're listening to me at this point, I'm going to presume that's within you, because you wouldn't be still here. You wouldn't be listening. You gotta press stop a long time ago. You gotta go on social media, you'd have done something else. But the fact that you're still here at this point shows me that there's something within you wanting to break free. There's a part of you which wants to just shed all that no longer serves you and to welcome and receive something good, to belong, to feel like you've been seen, heard, and felt, like I said. Now, of course, if you need help with that personally, if you're experiencing the imposter syndrome, if you're experiencing worries, fears, and doubts, if you want to up-level your career, if you want to transform your experience in the world, if you want to be able to truly have more wealth, health, and happiness, and you are committed, you are so driven and so invested in yourself, you can apply for our program. We'll get clear on what you want to let go of. We'll decide exactly what you want to achieve. We'll figure out what's getting in the way unconsciously, and we'll come up with a plan to see if we can solve it. We may enroll you into your dream. Yes, you've got to invest in yourself. There's a fully customized transformational program, right? This is, I would say, the game changer and one thing which will transform your life. So go to josephclough.info/talk, TALK, josephclough.info/talk, and that is my one system that I love because it just liberates us fully and completely. And the other thing you can go ahead and do is go to josephclough.info/event if you would like to attend our weekend seminar. Those in my main program are coming along for free because that's just one of the good perks about things. I like to keep on giving to those who are invested in themselves, but you can go ahead and invest yourself just $97 right now until the early bird increases to, I think, $297. But you can spend a whole weekend for $97 in the comfort of your own home to be able to just get your mind into alignment, tap into that gratitude, to unleash and unlock the true potentiality within you so you can shed the anxiety, you can shed the fear, you can step into your greatness, you can become who you desire to be, you can start to refocus and realign. It'll be one of the most pivotal stepping stones of your development. I really believe that, and I say that because we've had people, not necessarily in this virtual way, but it makes it better because it's a comfort in your own home. You haven't got to fly to me, you haven't got to get the hotel, you're there in front, just like now, but a whole weekend where you can just truly transform yourself. And that is josephclough.info/event. I'm super excited. Obviously the only one we're doing of the year. I may do one next year. I don't know. It just depends on my schedule. Depends what's on my heart, what I desire. And sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. We'll see. We may just do an in-person thing. It might be something else. I don't know what's going to happen. So if you are interested, josephclough.info/event. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I look forward to speaking to you on a future one. So many thanks and goodbye.